Hey Virgo, your September reading and a big happy Virgo season to you. We're gonna take a glance back at August and the beginning of Virgo season before getting into your cards and pulling more to fill in the gaps as we go. But I'm looking at this card of late August, just a real sense of fulfillment, just starting this reading off with a tone of pleasure, enjoyment, connection with others, time spent with family, time spent in a leisurely way, and it's been just really enjoyable for you. And overall, the month of September sees you transitioning into something not necessarily new, but a transition is happening into something that brings about a more peaceful way of life. For some of you, that may mean that you have found yourself just a perfect place to work or exist or like partner with somebody or share a living space with somebody, and everything is just very blissful and feeling good. The Two of Cups, another beautiful card to see coming through as we end the month of September. There is a feeling of even more connection, but bringing it into a more one-on-one or intimate basis rather than the time I think spent in August where you were more so just the gang's all here energy and look, there's so-and-so, I must catch up with them, and it was just maybe an event or a vacation or some sort of a family get-together where everybody was present and there was an element of nostalgia and coming together, but it's really given you something to take from that, I think. And we'll fill in the gaps with more cards, but for around the 10th, 11th of September, when we have that full moon in Pisces, there is a shift and a transition that begins to occur for you, Virgo. We'll clear it up and see what that may be, but it seems to be towards greater peace. Maybe some of you are going to be moving somewhere, relocating, or shifting away from a more toxic, perhaps work environment or something like that. We'll touch on the Two of Cups, but perhaps from a romantic perspective, there is the possibility of something connecting for you at the end of the month, or if you're in a romantic relationship, that really starts to take your focus and you find that you have more capacity for intimacy and like kind of just connecting on a one-to-one, like we said. Nine of Pentacles, Knight of Cups, and the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Again, very luxurious, glamorous, beautiful, physically attractive, healthy and strong energy with that card. And then just this is very romantic. It's very playful. It's about having fun and enjoying yourself. Just being around people that make you feel good. These could be family, friends. It seems like the emotion is pouring through this reading, Virgo, for you this month. And it seems like connection, relationships, and matters of the heart and acquiring peace of mind has really been what your core focus is. So that may suggest that your professional life is not the focus right now, or maybe it is too, and you're kind of balancing that, but your personal life, your hobbies, your relationships, your kind of time spent with yourself or doing whatever you need to do, that seems to be more of a focus this Virgo season in September. Story checks out. It's like a perfect time for that internal kind of refining and looking at what's working systematically and what's not. Okay, so let's look at basically what August has taught you and what was that whole month about for you. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse. This is Virgo's court card. Upright, yeah, you're kind of just slowly and steadily getting to your destination with this refining, but in reverse, I'm like, either you're like, I just can't wait for my season. I can't wait for Leo season to wrap up. Like, when is it Virgo season? But maybe you were kind of thirsting for like this get back into the grind mode, like get into the work mode again, get back into my hustle, and things like enjoyment and leisure and taking time off and being just existing, dancing in a field for all it's worth. Like, that would be probably something that could have come up. You maybe felt that free. Speaking of which, And what I'm saying here is that it would be so classic then to kind of say, okay, yeah, this has been great, but like now I'm ready to get back to reality. And then the sun moves into Virgo on the 23rd. And I felt that shift. I had such a productive day, and I'm like, long may this last, because I really like, I say this about all the seasons, but I do in particular love Virgo season. So that's good. You're kind of not hitting the ground running in Virgo season, rather you're just sort of slowly maneuvering your way into the flow there. Not in a big rush. Things have been going well in your personal life. You've been really enjoying all that connection and things working well, and you feeling a sense of belonging and comfort. And what I was going to say about the freedom situation, when I was meditating in your reading, or just before your reading, I heard two things. So I heard a Genie in a Bottle, Christina Aguilera song, so I was like, okay. And then I heard the quote that comes from the movie Aladdin. I'm really showing my the generation that I grew up in here, but it said, you will never again see the light of day. And it's when the genie in the bottle has been fired into the cave of sinking sand. And that was me thinking, like, was Virgo like feeling so pent up for so long? And that actually turned out very fortunately for the genie in Aladdin. Actually, he got to explore the world and like kind of just be the creator of his own destiny. So I was thinking maybe Virgo has felt very confined or pent up and just waiting for that kind of you're in a sense indebted to something maybe, or you feel obliged to, or you feel there is a compulsory tone to something you have to do, just like that genie. It's like, well, I have to provide for others, a service for others, and I am tied to this. So there could be that, but then I was also seeing, like, with such an expansion of like more positive cards in the reading initially, and then those other cup cards we saw, I was thinking, well, I think Virgo's like expanding at this time, seeing more of the world, or just kind of broadening their perspective, or just feeling like more connected to others. Even if we want to go a step further, like connected to the feeling of like innate oneness with their universe and with everybody in it, or with those around you. Okay, so there was a sort of like, okay, now August was fun, but what did it teach you? In a sense, it might have brought up that you enjoy what you enjoy, okay? And it's great to luxuriate and take a break and treat yourself, and that's all well and good. But you are sort of motivated then in August. It was like, that was just a little too much, like it was saturated almost with the good times. We think, how can that be possible? And it wasn't uncomfortable, but maybe enough to make you think it's time to get back down to business. For some, a sudden event may have derailed the enjoyment, and you found yourself having to leave this place, or fly home early, or change your plans in a sense. Let's have a look though at the cycle of emotional fulfillment that's recently been reached for you, and what that maybe means, Virgo. The Two of Swords and the Four of Cups and Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So this is what happens when it's too much of a good thing. So you start to almost second guess that, or kind of start to feel a little stagnated, like there could be a response like to some sort of a trauma, even where, you know, you're used to, or you grew up in an environment where there would be more kind of unreliable behavior in a parent, or like dishonesty, or anything really that caused that for you. And not having that in the relationship, you're kind of like, oh wait, what's wrong here? Like, is something wrong? When in actual fact, no, I don't think so. So it could have been that with the relationship. It could have also been that, like, just as a period in your life where there was nothing wrong, and you couldn't really even trust fully in that to fully enjoy it. To fully enjoy the rewards that you should be having on an emotional level. There was a part of you that sort of doubted your place in that, or even, you know, you kind of sort of felt held back by another person, I'm seeing, or torn between like seeing this person clearly for who they are as maybe more of a support, and who kind of would be a person it kind of could have crossed your mind in August that doesn't really celebrate your advancements on an emotional level. Is there anybody there that would want to see you, Eight of Swords, the Devil card, the Nine of Swords, the Five of Swords, in a position of more limitation, more tied to a circumstance, obligation with the genie in the bottle, right? It's like you are thinking that there's somebody that you are it's compulsory to be tied to them, and the lower they're at, like the lower ebb they're at on their journey, they seem to maybe take that out on you, Virgo. So these cards are cards about recognizing your own peace of mind, and that's what that Six of Swords is. It's a real nice respite in the Swords deck. I think around the 10th, 11th of September, when you're back into the flow of your everyday routine and things are essentially just back in a kind of more settled or predictable manner, the shift around the 10th, 11th could indicate you becoming like the veil lifting for you. It's going to be in Pisces. It's quite a illuminating full moon on an intuitive level. The full moon is the brightest at that point of the cycle, and it's going to be shining a light on what is necessary, and it's the brightest we can have it at, essentially. So I do think it's around that point where you say, do you know what, my peace that I've experienced recently, or I've picked parts that I like that I was able to achieve that work-life balance and let my hair down a little, or just enjoy my family time more. I don't like when I spend too long at that, or I give into obligations too much. So you fine-tuned that in a sense, but now the spotlight turns to something that is a little more, dare I say, toxic, right? Something that is in a sense limiting for you, and you feel maybe drained around this person, obliged to do something for this person, under the thumb of this person, or you feel shame or guilt around the situation. So you get to really shine a spotlight on that. And we'll go a little deeper into we can see that there's something that may come up around the full moon that invites you to see what is the necessary thing to liberate yourself from. And it seems like you choose the choice in the Justice card, the Hermit card, which is Virgo. You choose to do something in an entirely different way, the Judgment card. These are powerful energies of what is actually happening under the surface here. The Six of Swords. You've recognized where you need to cut ties. It's that sabotage energy. You only feel guilt about it, or shame, or blame, or you feel unsettled or regretful. So you'll need to kind of identify that first and foremost, but I don't think you're going to have any trouble there. The Justice card is really what's playing out under it all. There's a definite choice you can make here, and you always have a choice, Virgo, and you're just basically shining a light on it, and maybe the full moon energy. So that would mean that when the full moon is in Pisces around the 10th or the 11th, depending where you are, then the sun will be directly opposite that in Virgo. So at polar opposites of the zodiac, the full moon in Pisces with the sun gleaming in Virgo. So much light being shone on something around that portal, and you have a clear choice as to which way you navigate this. The higher calling, with this card just being the first card out, I was thinking, oh, this is so peaceful for Virgo. Like, what a lovely, fluffy reading, right? And August may have really felt that fluffiness, but you maybe on an intuitive level kind of knew something else was brewing, or that there would have had to have been a choice on something, or a cutoff on something. So that's then when we see these cards emerge. But the Six of Swords was the card that comes out first, so I'm inclined to think that you follow the path that's more easeful for you, which would be freer of obstacles, of naysayers, of people who drain your energy, of people who make you feel like shit, or of a situation. Apply this to your work, your social calendar, whatever it is, these obligations that of course some are maybe not absolutely necessary, but you're in a period of refinement, as we all are in Virgo season. So I think we should take this opportunity on the collective. The Judgment card, another big booming major arcana card around this. You won't be afraid to make this choice for yourself this time around, or you will have kind of gained the wisdom that you won't judge yourself or you won't judge others in this. You'll be able to make this decision from a more transformed and overall reborn or evolved vantage point at this time or going forward. Okay, Two of Cups. Again, we're kind of looking at the energy of leaving September. Overall, things that could be possible here: connections forged, connections deepened, agreements made between people, promises, vows, or sentiments shared, verbal contracts, or matters of the heart coming up for let's talk about it kind of things. Let's look at the Two of Cups. Maybe after all that's said and done in September, you also feel like tapping into more intimate one-on-one relationships where you can be a little more vulnerable and less, I guess, just we all have to put on a show every now and then when we're maybe entertaining or, you know, keeping things casual. Maybe you'll be interested in going a little deeper. The Five of Cups and the Star card, it's the shamanic approach for me. It's the kind of going right to the root of the pain or the fear, and getting it right there, staring it right in the face. And what does that mean for you? It's like a kind of like a quick little route to the Star card energy of healing and hope restored. So you may need to express yourself in a more vulnerable way with others. You may have to be more honest with a partner or a friend about something. You may want to express your want to share some of your achievements with somebody. The Ten of Pentacles, so much achievement here, but there is a part of you that wants to share that. There's a sort of, for some I'm sensing like a loneliness, and even if you are in a marriage or a partnership, you may feel disconnected with that from that person, and you're kind of wanting to speak on that, or like kind of I'm sensing that they're not really sharing in your maybe aspirations or in your achievements. And we do have this Nine of Pentacles to the Eight of Cups as well. The Nine of Pentacles is Venus in Virgo. The Ten of Pentacles is Mercury in Virgo. So you may have these placements too. If so, what I'm picking up on here is you go your own way anyway, and you celebrate your own accomplishments and achievements without the permission or without worrying about making anybody else feel less than. You celebrate them anyway, and that could be the pathway towards integrating what this Five of Cups sadness is, because it's such a, I guess, positive end to the reading with the Star card and these cards of the material prosperity and manifestation, and like beyond that, kind of just like accomplishment and being proud of yourself. It could be the hangover from whatever gets exposed or illuminated for you around that full moon, around the 10th or 11th, give or take. It could be the hangover from that when you're like, oh, I just couldn't change their mind on that, or I just wasn't going to be a compatibility issue. So there could be just something that, you know, you sense is nothing can be done about it, and it pisses you off or it upsets you slightly. That could be what that is. But overall, what I'm more so seeing the Five of Cups and the Star card is just a willingness to be more vulnerable with the people that you are intimate with, and kind of getting right to the root of what's bothering you. But it could also have been like, again, something that happens mid-month that you're like, you become aware of what is the situation that is not causing you to feel this peace Okay, that's what I've got for you, Virgo. Thank you so much for watching. I'll link your love reading below. That's going to be exclusive on Patreon, and in exchange for signing up to my Patreon, you'll get a lot of content like that. I am also asking for you to subscribe if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And other than that, have a great Virgo season, and thank you for watching.